Hello and welcome back, beautiful soul. This is Permission to Follow Your Inner GPS video podcast series, and we have a very beautiful soul with us, Gitte Lassen, all the way from Italy. She is the founder of the revolutionary SelfLove, where she teaches whole life success to women for whom total life success is a spiritual journey of deep personal transformation. For 20 plus years, she's helped conscious, sensitive, and highly sensitive women transform from being painfully sensitive to being powerfully sensitive and feel more confident, love themselves, have wonderful relationships, and create a life they love to live. Following your inner guided GPS, your inner soul purpose is so important, and that's what we're here to help shine your light on as I do last minute adjustment. Sorry about the wiggles. Please welcome our beautiful friend, our beautiful soul sister, Gitte Lassen. Welcome, gorgeous.
Thank you, Angel Lady.
We're so happy to have you here all the way from Italy. And just a side note, my mom's family, my mom's father's family is from Abruzzi, and my grandfather is first generation. I know you're not Italian, but it just,
It's fun with these connections, right?
Yes, absolutely. Please tell us who you are and what it is you do.
Well, you already said my name, right? Gitte Lassen. And it's an interesting question when you ask people who you are. Because I'm going to answer it with a story about how I did not know who I am. Because
Good.
I was asked 20 years ago, somebody asked me, who are you, Gitte? And I told my name, I told my age, I told what country I was born in, I told him what I did for a living. And then I heard, but who are you? Right? And I realized at that moment, I had no clue who I was. I did not know who I was. It was like all my identity came from, my name, my age, my relationships, my job, my nationality or whatever. So it's an interesting question. Who are you? Now, to answer it,
Yes.
I am the Positive Power Pilgrim. And there's a long story about that I'm not going to share. But I'm also an alchemist in that I work with transformation, both my own and other people's. I'm a truth speaker, truth teller. Maverick, because I really don't like to be normal. So I guess the word Maverick applies.
Well, being normal, and I don't even know what that really is, except that it's trying to fit into a box or a circle or a triangle that is confining, and it makes me nauseous to even think about trying to fit into normal.
Yeah, that's sort of my my thing also. So I'm kind of always living on the edge. It's like I'm always different.
Mm-hmm.
And you probably know that from yourself doing the same thing, that it's like that can be very difficult sometimes, right? Because you are going against the grain of what everybody else in the world is doing, except for the 1% or 2% or whatever. And then you cannot not do otherwise. You don't really have any choice.
No, a lot of times you really don't. So tell us about your journey. You started to share with us that you did not know who you are. You do now. And I've seen part of this metamorphosis in being open enough or confident, whatever word you want to call it, stepping into more of who Gitte really is, because you've known for a while who you are, and then being willing to be out there more clear. It's like, okay, I'm going to put it into the words that best describe. And human language is not always that easy.
It is. And how do you really describe who you are, right?
Mm-hmm.
Which is why I put the truth teller and maverick and alchemist, and also like to think of myself as a wild woman. We got to get that part.
Well, tell us more about your journey, beautiful.
Yes. Um, Back in 1991, actually, that's sort of where my journey started or seeded or came into focus, or I found my GPS, my North Star. I actually did an exercise to find my purpose in life and my big dream. And it just coincided with that I had left my world of geophysics. I'm a geophysicist, a master's degree, and was doing a research scholarship on volcanic earthquakes. And then I had already started moving into personal transformation, and then I did this exercise. What is my purpose in life? Is to be a geophysicist or to do something else? And it was something else. So just because of this time when this exercise came, right, it was like the right time for me to take it really, really, really deep. And not just do it as a mental exercise, but really do it as a soul exercise where it really went that deep. And what came out of it at that time is that I'm a powerful healer. And what is interesting, right, because I don't think I have been so angry in my life as when I found this as my life's purpose, because the powerful, man, I did not want the responsibility of being powerful. I wanted to be an angel healer or a spiritual healer or a loving healer or a light healer or anything else and powerful. And then my big dream followed that I wanted to work with groups of people in personal transformation. So this is all the way back to 1991. And actually I have been doing that. I have been walking that path with very few zigs and zags because of life necessities. And in one way or another, I have always worked with personal transformation with people. And it has just looked different.
Tell us about some of those differences, because when I have conversations with people, it's, well, I don't know what my purpose is, and how do I know what the right path is? And most think and feel that once they know what their purpose is or what they think it is, then they don't have to do anything else, and there are no twists and turns, there's no challenges. But when you start off with one thing, you often are led, or the path is revealed along the way. I mean, I'm doing the same kinds of things, but it's not the same thing that I started off doing 8 years ago.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I have been at this, for a very long time now. So yeah, it definitely changes, because as I changed myself, right, the expression of my life purpose changed. And as I learn more, I can again put that into the expression of my purpose, how it comes out in service to people. So back in 1991, I was working as a massage therapist. And for me, because this is where I am, right, it was very much about emotional healing, to the body. And as I was doing that, I was adding astrological counseling, I was adding the flower essences, I was adding some metaphysical business counseling, I was doing some workshops on past lives. It was like, just kind of different things that fit in. And then when that phase of my life was coming to an end, which I realized because I wasn't excited about doing this anymore. I was like kind of I was starting to look forward to my days of giving massage with dread, and that's like, ooh, time to change.
Yes.
So I just go, okay, so if I don't want to do that, what should I do instead? And then several people have told me that I should be channeling. So I said, well, why don't I give that a shot? So I channeled for 10 people as a practice, put, an ad in the paper and started channeling. And I was actually pretty good at it. But what then came out of it was that, like part of the things I could see, channel seeing, was that I could see who people could become in the highest expression of their authentic selves, however you want to see it. But they wouldn't get there unless they worked on themselves.
Right. Nobody wants to do the work. They just want a magic wand or a crystal or an oil or something and be done with it, right?
Yeah. So what happened then, that I started to help, I offered to help them with that work. And it's like I only did channeling for 1 year when I realized, well, somebody has to help them with that work. And since I'm the only one, it's got to be me, right? I'm the only one who sees it.
Right.
So that kind of ended up into like the next phase of my life, where I did that kind of counseling. And it was very much like my framework was the codependence and the dysfunctional family.
Okay.
That was kind of the framework I stuck with. But I use the word codependence in a different way than most people understand it today. So you know, I don't really want to go in there. But then what happened, in 2001, I lost my health. And I got very, very sick for many years with a chronic fatigue syndrome.
Okay.
And that whole journey then of healing myself, because it never even occurred to me to go into Western medicine, right? I just go my Maverick way, which is natural and holistic medicine and, you know, energy doctors, whatever. I actually ended up opening with my friend a school of natural medicine. We call it the School of Health Mastery, which was sort of 50% the body and 50% the mind. So yes, it was a school about natural medicine, but it was really a school of personal transformation. Because for the 3 years we had the students, they just dramatic personal transformation through all of them. So suddenly I was living my purpose through what I was teaching in the school. And to me, it was just pure joy to have people for 3 years, right? You can really follow them. So yeah, and then kind of the last development then is, as I'm coming back here, you know, arriving in Italy, is that has been sort of a transformation into a new expression of my work, where it then has come out to just, was it last week I did that, a big announcement that, hey, new version of my work is revolutionary self-love for women.
And that's so important, because somebody will say, well, do you love yourself? And they go, well, yes. And when we really take a moment, there's always room for, not sure I want to use the word improvement, but to up level how much, or go in deeper as to how much we really truly love ourselves.
Yeah, absolutely. And this is why I use the word revolutionary. And I don't know if you remember when I asked, you know, should I call it radical, or, you know, I had some, you know, in our Facebook group. But I chose revolutionary because it's like, I like to work with depth. And I think a lot of the teaching about self-love, it's superficial.
Okay.
Well, no, I don't want to say superficial, but I'm saying that it doesn't go deep enough. It doesn't go high enough. It doesn't go wide enough, which is
I agree. There's a lot of surface,
yeah,
but not a lot of depth or width.
Yes. And the multi-dimensionality, which I really love, from the highest spiritual esoteric. I can see myself being pixelated here. The highest.
Yeah, I'm trying to help clear it on this end.
The highest spiritual, esoteric, metaphysical tool, like just like way down, grounded and practical and pragmatic. You know, you gotta, it goes the whole way. So for me, it's like what I ended up doing, you know, also in terms of all the wisdom I have accumulated in working on my own self-love, of course, is it's definitely supreme self-care. You know, you got to take good care of yourself. But what does that mean? It's not just taking a bath, you know, with candles and essential oils, right? Because this is always the first thing that pops into my mind. But it's not. It's like supreme self-care is, it's like, how do you take care of your body? How do you take care of your energy? Do you give yourself a space in your life for actually doing your emotional healing? Do you give yourself new experiences? Like, I like to have an adventure day every week. So that's part of it, right? Then there's a part that has to do with sacred success. Because so many of us, we don't know how to achieve success because nobody has taught us.
Exactly.
And creating success for ourselves in whatever area of life, that's also self-love.
True.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
And the whole thing about money, again, is like a lot of us, we struggle with money because all kinds of money wounds from, you know, our childhood, our ancestors, the collective unconscious, you know, vows, past life, you know, you name it, or whatever. So allowing abundant money into our lives is also self-love. But it's not just about working more, right? It's going in and do the deep healing, which to me is kind of the ultimate expression of self-love. It's like the deep healing.
I agree. Being willing, and not just using the words, but being willing to go within and really look at it without judgment and blame. How do you not do that if you want to really expand your life, whether you work for someone else or you're working for yourself and helping others? Because every time one of us, a sensitive, an empath, someone on their path, no matter what their journey is or what their occupation is, every time we lighten up, we brighten up, we actually help the entire planet and the universe. And that is so important.
Mm-hmm. It is. It is.
Would you tell us about one of the challenges? I know there's like more than one, because there's more than one in my life, but what can you share with us that would help our viewers know that it's okay to stumble along the way? And what did you do with that challenge to help turn it into something more positive?
Beyond my many years of loss of health.
Well, how did you, what you mentioned, you mentioned you started the natural
the School of Natural Medicine, the School of
yes.
Natural Medicine. Yes.
So how else, you did explain and share about that, but how did that really help you to move through your part?
Actually, I used the things that we ended up teaching in school to heal myself.
Okay.
So and then we just kind of decided to take it into an education and really do that blend together. But I mean, what obstacles have I faced? I mean, you know, just think about now. I moved to Italy and I can't speak Italian, but I can still live my purpose, right? I mean, that's an obstacle that most people would like, but I can't speak Italian, so how am I going to make a living? You know, it's not going to work, but it does. And I mean, it's like I was a single mother from the time my son was conceived, because it was an accidental pregnancy, and I was living in Iceland at that time. I had no family to support me. I, you know, said goodbye to my family, and I lost my health, and I ended up on welfare. You know, like most people would say, that's a big challenge.
Yes, it can be, because a lot of people get stuck there.
Yeah, and that's again, it's like knowing my purpose, I cannot not do it. So that also became a process of personal transformation that I could then turn around and share with the world, right?
Mm-hmm.
So
So let me ask you this, beautiful. How do you, your life, your work, which is your life, and your life is your work, you've had many transitions within that path, within your journey. How did you, better words, guys, when you came to the end of one, like when you were talking about dreading the next massage client, so many people will just stick with it because it's familiar. People call it the comfort zone. I call it the stay stuck zone. How did you find the courage? And maybe it was easy for you, maybe it wasn't, but how did you find the courage or the determination to say, okay, what's next? And then actually do it?
well, this is also self-love, right? Because I'm not willing to live a life where there's no joy.
Okay.
So you know, I've been playing around with this idea for a while. It's like, what if the purpose of life is joy? What if the purpose of life is to have as much joy in your life as possible? Then what gives you joy? And getting up to a work you hate, well, that's definitely not bringing more joy. that was not what I was thinking, at that time. It was just this like, I don't want to do this any longer. I don't want to do this any longer. And then what should I do instead? And it just kind of came to me. So it has never really been a big issue for me to just like switch what I was doing, because
Good.
it has always been the obvious next step. And there's always been a feeling of rightness around it. So I don't know if there wasn't much fear around it, just maybe, oh, what am I doing now? But then I just do it and it's okay.
That's good. So, beautiful soul, are you hearing this? It's okay to switch. It's okay to course, not correct, but maybe shift. And I'm being given the image of train tracks where they actually have a switch and you switch the direction. So when you feel like things need to change, or you're going to go, a little bonkers, or there's no joy in it anymore, then start figuring out what the next piece is and be open to it. Gitte is a perfect example of that. Would you share with us, beautiful, one example of the many hundreds of thousands of a client success? You can, whether it's from the School of Natural Medicine or your revolutionary self-love, share with us one story, keeping their confidence, of how your clients actually receive results.
Yes, one of many, right?
Yes.
One of many. Why don't I just bring you one that happened yesterday, which was unusual for me. So I was in a coaching call with a group in a program that I have going, and we run Zoom, the 6 of us, and she starts sharing about how she has learned so much in the, like hypnotherapy and Reiki and a lot of things, but she has never really used it as a source of income, and she was kind of stuck with that. And then she went in talking about her ancestors, because, I told her to do that. And she mentioned she had a First Nation great-grandmother who was a healer. And it just came through really, really clear that her great-grandmother was with her as a guide right now. And she was carrying the medicine as a healer that her great-grandmother had. It's like I'm getting goosebumps all over just saying this, right?
Yes.
It's like just a completely different look. It's like everything about her self-identity just shifted in that moment, right?
How could it not? Oh my goodness. How amazing. The great grandmother came through, and her energy, her essence was there. Is, not was, is there.
Mm-hmm.
And your client is open to not only acknowledging that within herself, but to say it out loud, which really helps to embody it within even more. Oh my goodness.
Yeah. And
that's amazing.
I mean, it's really amazing how also it's like that she carries the medicine, right? The gift, the healing gift from her mother. So that is what has been her inner GPS, like all these years, where she has just thought to learn more and learn more and learn more, but never really, be able to, or never thought to make a living of it, which could also be tied in with, her, at a couple of 100 years ago in the First Nation, you didn't get paid for being a healer. This was just your service to the tribe, right? That's a different issue. But yeah, it's like that's self-love. If you go back to that, it's like self-love is owning that this is what my life is about. It's about taking my great-grandmother's heritage, inheritance or whatever heritage, her medicine, and bringing that into the world today.
You touched on something, and so it feels appropriate to just bring it up a little bit more. Being from the First Nation, she wasn't paid, but the village took care of her. So she didn't need to get paid in the currency, because there was a roof over her head, clothing provided, in trade, animals, food, whatever it was. Now we get to provide that for ourselves. And that goes back, and this could be a whole nother hour's discussion, but we touched on it. So it's important. There needs to be a different kind of exchange, because that's what the world is dealing with. This world is dealing with at this time for the last, several hundred years, really. So there's no more the village or the town takes care anymore in that way. So we get to take care of ourselves as we take care of others. And that's also following your inner GPS, beautiful soul. Thank you for bringing that up. I'm through the sharing. What else would you like to share with our viewers, beautiful?
No, I'm thinking that maybe we will have peace on earth once everybody really love themselves.
That would be so nice. That would be so nice. Yeah. Is there any last example or sharing that you would like to share with us?
Let me see if something comes to me. Yeah, what is coming to me is like actually seeing how far reaching the concept of self-love comes when you put it into a context of whole life success. Because if you really apply self-love and put it into all different areas of your life, just imagine how it can change. If you self-love around money, if you self-love around your work, if you self-love around how you take care of yourself, if you self-love in your relationships. It's like how that concept of loving yourself, which is not indulging in yourself or pampering yourself or going along with your lower self, but it's really the highest expression of who you are, to me, self-love. And when that comes out in your life, how is it all going to change?
That is so far-reaching. It is amazing, because when we do have true self-love or are starting to work on it and with it, literally stuff from who knows how far back in our generations and our heritage actually start to fall away. And having been doing some deep healing work myself, I mean, we're always working on ourselves. In the last few months, I've really gone to deeper and higher levels. And I can see how that is affecting the relationship I have with my parents in an incredible way. And it's just some of the things, the way they're said, and it's the energy that comes through and how much more smoothly things are going. And it's just so powerful, because if you're not aware of it, if you're not paying attention, those little soft signs, those little soft confirmations go whoop, right by, and it's like, oh wow, and it's like really cool. So thank you for doing such, and the word they're giving me is monumental. Your word is revolutionary. It is monumental, because it is huge. It is huge for self-love. And, well, we could go on and on and on and on and on and on. Please tell our viewers how they can contact or find you, beautiful.
Yes. I mean, I would really love to have you join my Facebook group that's called Women's Revolutionary Self-Love, because that's where I'm in every day of the week except Sundays and sometimes Saturdays, because I still love myself enough to not be on Facebook every day.
Yes.
So this is where most of the action is, going on, and I, teach, do Facebook Lives and do some Facebook challenges or whatever. My website, gittelassen.com. My blog, highlysensitiveMagic.com. That will probably disappear soon. highlysensitivemagic.com.
Thank you.
Thank you. Or I up-leveled here. And my YouTube channel, Gitte Lassen. Did I get all of them?
I think you did. And Gitte is spelled Gitte, Lassen, Lassen, Gitte Lassen. So find her. She's amazing. She's absolutely amazing. And it is such a joy. And the pixelating angels have been working, and it's mostly good. And we're just going to go with it, ladies and gentlemen, because This is so rich. It's so powerful. If we were to do it again, we would lose some of the magic in that. Yeah, I don't have any more words for that. So thank you for being here. And while you are checking out this beautiful lady, Gitte Lassen, do stop by angeldreamteam.com. Check out the Living Spirit and Wellness Global Directory for empaths. You're going to find some amazing, beautiful souls, readers, healers, graphic designers, and mindset coaches, among other animal healers. Okay, I can't name everybody, guys. And I'm saying guys because my angel guides are helping me with all the words, so I'm acknowledging them out loud. Talk about outing yourself. Do stop by and find the perfect person to work with. Gitte is another amazing soul, and we're so happy to have you here. Again, that's angeldreamteam.com, and we'll be back again soon, beautiful soul. See you later. Bye-bye for now.